What is up? What is up? So
Good
it is so
morning.
amazing to have this amazing guy in the house today named Abel, also known as Ginny Madrid, as you can see in the little thing down there on the bottom.
Oh no.
And how are you?
Well, at least you know who the boss is, you know?
That's right.
I'm doing
Every
good, thank you. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Lori. Good morning, Blanca.
Morning.
yeah, good morning. Such a
Morning.
such a great day to have a little podcast time with this amazing Abel, right? So what's going on, everybody? How's it going? It's a great week. It's Wednesday, hump day, run day, right? We got run day today. Well, actually, that's Friday. Friday's fun day, run day.
Friday is the best day for sure.
Good day to invest, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Great day to invest. Great day to invest. Oh, every day's a good day to invest in real estate, right?
It is. Yes.
I'm sure we're going to get some good questions today, Abel, but let's just get started right away with man. I know that you and I have gone back pretty far now, quite a bit. Um,
Yeah.
and I watched you go from top producing real estate agent when you first jumped in, first year in the business, couple years in the business, you were killing it, to realizing, hey, there's something to be said to this investing world where I can make a whole lot more money. And you didn't hesitate. You just said, okay, I'm going to do it. And you did it. And not only did you do it, but you did it on steroids. So probably I'm going to say at least a seven-figure income coming in, guys. I'm not going to tell you how much you guys make, but I'm going to say probably at least a seven-figure income, if not more. And I'd like to just hear today. One is Abel. This is Abel Ulloa, by the way. And everyone, you're in charge of muting yourself. Okay, make sure you have background noise. You
I
mute
think it's
yourself.
I think it's I
Tell
think it's
everybody to
Sierra.
be quiet. There we go. I did it. I fixed it. That goes to show how many people are interested in being on this call today and hearing you out, man. What does that say?
Everybody. I thank everybody for coming, Sean, and thank you for the opportunity to get me on here.
Oh man, I'm pumped. And so what we did is we sent this out to two large brokerages in two states, like extra push today, because we wanted a big group in here for you, man. We just, and there's a lot of people that want to know about this stuff. So, but to have a special guest of you in here is an honor. And this is also streamed live on YouTube, by the way. So you didn't know
Awesome.
that? Not to get you all nervous or anything, because I know Abel gets nervous on stage. So you're on a virtual stage right now, but don't even worry about it.
I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt and pajamas on the bottom.
Oh, there you go. That's the fun part about virtual
Yep.
stage, right? Okay.
Isn't that crazy? It actually it turned out we're all complaining about it in the beginning, but now we know that this could just take you all over.
Oh yeah, get you
Being
all
in
over the
place.
U.S.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. So first off, as we get going, Abel, just kind of tell me a little bit how you got into. Tell me where you come from. I know you came from the sales industry of selling diamonds to very wealthy people for their wives
Sure.
and guys, right? Tell me a
Yeah.
little bit about where you started, how you got here, and then just kind of go forward, and then we're going to jump into some tactics for
Cool.
people to build wealth in real estate. A real estate agent should be building wealth. That's
Yeah.
what you should be doing. Your growth, your opportunities, you're teaching everybody else how to do it and showing everybody else you should be doing it yourself.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that today too. So first and foremost, let's just start. Tell me a little bit about you, Abel.
So I started at a retail with K Jewelers. I was there for 15 years. We were basically I learned a lot from there. We learned, customer service and just treating people right. And I also learned that from every person you helped, you were able to get another opportunity from if you did your job correctly. And so I just ran with that. And I just every time I helped somebody, I was asking for what's next or who's next, and I just got really good at asking for business. And I think that was one of the biggest things that I learned at K Jewelers. And I got my license back in 2000, oh my God, 2017. And then
Seventeen.
I still stayed at K Jewelers for another 2 years after that. But from K Jewelers, me and Jenny, Jenny and I were doing, I believe we did about 40 deals 1 year with me part-time. And so we just had our own little cool little process. I would get the lead and then I would warm it up and then hand it over to Jenny. And I was able to do that. We saved enough money to quit my job.
So this
And
was the real estate side sales, right?
yeah,
This is how you
yeah.
were doing it. You were getting the lead, warming it up, and then kicking it over to Jenny. You weren't afraid to ask for business.
Oh, so I was getting you in debt and then I was getting you a house.
Mm, nice.
And I was able to, after, after I think a little over the 2 years, Kevin Blaine reached out to me on a Facebook Messenger and it just changed my life, you know.
Hmm. So that was before you ever joined the Kevin Blaine real estate team.
That was way before I joined the Kevin Blaine team.
We say way, but you said 2017 you got your license. That's 6 years. Wait, that's 6 years ago. I was
Yeah,
like, am I counting that correctly? That's only 6 years ago.
yeah, you're right. You're right. It hasn't, I mean, I feel old, so old now. So I'm like,
Feel like you've been doing this forever?
yes, I do. I do.
Nice. So
And
you were warming them up, kicking them over to Jenny, but prior to that, you were in the jewelry business.
the sales, yeah, sales. And
Sales.
like I said, it's just I was able to, when I was there, I was able to break down my goals. I understood it like super in the beginning of this. I was like, you know what? Okay, if $50,000, right? Let's say $100,000 a month is what my sell goal was.
Mm.
In my mind, I was already breaking it down by hourly, by daily, and I was able to meet those goals and over exceed them because it was easier to think that just I had to sell 100,000. We would divide it by the 4 days, by the 4 weeks, and then the 5 days a week or 7 days a week, whatever we worked that week. And I feel like that's what really took this to another level was like, I understood the assignment. If I came into the real estate side and I gave the same amount of time, right, that I did in the real estate, in the jewelry store, then I would be able to kill it. It's like basically you're clocking in.
So you figured
Uh,
out if I want to make this amount of money in income, I break
yes.
that down to what you needed to do to be able to do that.
Yes, and then so instead of the, and I mean, a lot of us do think this way, but it wasn't the income at the time. It was, I wanted to sell 100 houses that year. So I broke it down per month, that's about 8.5 deals a month. And then obviously I knew that I needed to start 3 months before to start the year at that. So like, for instance, right now, if you did want to sell 100 homes, you would start now.
Yeah.
So that way by January, you're already ahead of, or with your
Yeah.
first
What
eight
is
deals.
going on?
Yeah. Oh, you're not muted there. Remember, guys, control your meat. All right. Yeah. So you figure like right now we're in, August approaching, I'm sorry, September approaching October.
Yep.
And a lot of people are thinking, oh, it typically gets cooler and all that. People aren't going to be selling or buying. No, that's totally incorrect. People are still selling or buying. And if I want to hit my goals in 2025, it's probably a good idea to start working on what those goals are going to be now
Yeah.
to set them in motion. Or are you saying that if I want to sell this many this year, 100 this year,
Mhm.
that's a lot per month right now to get through the end of the year. But is it doable? Yeah, there's somebody that's going to sell 100 homes in the next 3 months, believe it or not.
Yeah.
There are companies out there that do that.
And if you think about it, because also there's stuff that we could do to get those numbers, right? So one of the things that worked out for us was that when we were listing a property, first thing we would do is flyer the block, right? List the property and then do an open house and then flyer the block. So those are all, you have 4 different ways or 3 different ways to try to double in that deal. So that's 2 deals. Make sense?
Yeah, totally.
And so, out of 1 deal, you can make 2 deals, you can make 3 deals. If you're talking to your buyers about it, purchasing a second home, now, in a year from now, they could reach out and say, hey, we're ready for that rental. But you have to keep calling them and just stay in front of them.
So did you learn sales from K Jewelers or was that something else that happened prior to that?
I think I learned a lot because from K Jewelers, and the reason why, because I wanted to be the best. And so I would just watch, and I would try things, and then if it didn't work, then I wouldn't do that anymore. I would try something else until I got really good at one thing. And for instance, like in the jewelry store, it's funny. So first thing you do, you go and greet the client, and the client's like, "I'm just looking," right?
Oh yeah. Oh
So
man.
I would get that a lot, and I'm like, there has to be an easier way. So then I started, I would grab a piece of merchandise, right? And I would say, hey, have you ever seen a 2 carat, just out of nowhere? Have you ever seen a 2 carat diamond ring? And they'd be like, they would grab the ring and they'd be like, oh, it's nice, but I'm here to look for a necklace. Okay, come right over here. You know,
Mm.
it's just like just getting really good at just trying
Yeah.
to
Instead of
find what,
going in there and saying, "Can I help you?"
yeah,
Now that shows the type of sales experience you have. All right. So someone walks in your open house, transition is to open houses, and you say, "Hi, how are you? Can I help you? Can I walk you around and show you this house?" Just say, "No, how you doing? By the way, before you leave this house, I want to make sure you see that this house has a bidet or
exactly.
something."
Nice.
Just getting straight into it. That was a horrible example. But getting into a question, like, "Hey, how you guys doing? Have you guys ever seen like a 10 carat diamond looks like? Check this out." And you're just starting conversation, right?
Starting the conversation, trying to break that ice. And
Break
it
that
is the
ice.
same thing in real estate. You know, when we would do an open house, one of the biggest things that I caught on was that when we were doing an open house, the family would just spread out,
Mm,
right? Kids over there, wife in the kitchen, husband in the backyard. So that alone to me was like I'm losing control. I need to have control. So I need to have them follow me like a chicken with little ducks, or like a duck with little duckies, right?
little
I'm the
ducklings. Yeah.
leader. I walk them around the whole house.
Mm,
And that always worked for us too. I had control of the whole situation the whole time.
mm.
That's
So
that's
good.
that's what I'm saying. Just trying to find a way, or get good at a way to, just I don't
Got
know,
to
just
create
like
that
build
conversation.
relationships. Yeah.
Get the relationship started. Yeah. Yeah. And that's probably one of the biggest situations, difficulties a newer agent has is realizing that, hey, it might be a form of sales, but doesn't matter what sales you're in. You're in a relationship based business. Sales is a
Okay.
relationship based business. The sooner you create that relationship, the sooner they're gonna trust that you're not just here to try to sell them something.
Yeah. And even for new agents, if you're gonna get in front of a client, be informed of what you're doing, of what you're selling, or what industry you're in.
Mm.
And that alone, a person is not gonna are not gonna tell you, no, I don't want to work with you because you've been doing this for a month.
Yeah,
If you're talking to them, you know what you're talking about, they're gonna work with you.
yeah, definitely. Let's transition a little bit over. Okay, let's jump into fast forward into investing world because that's what everybody really wants to hear from Abel is look,
All right.
how did he do it? How did he go from just selling some homes? One is make sure you guys realize he didn't just start investing. Everyone thinks I just want to start investing. And can you do it? 100%. There's so many ways to do it with zero money in your account to get in the investing world. So many ways. Leveraging money, utilizing other people's money that want to invest. I mean, you've got a stage right now as a real estate agent, a stage to help people invest. But you've got to remember you're an investor. You have to be an investor. You have to build your financial wealth. Most realtors don't have a retirement. So what do? They got to build it. And building it, one of the best retirements you can have out there is multiple owned real estate, multiple investing streams of investing income. So let's fast forward. Okay, so you're selling a bunch of real estate. You and Jenny, you're warming them up. You're kicking them over to Jenny. She's closing them. So
Yeah.
basically, you're battling and slaying the dragon, and then you're kicking it over to her, and she's finishing it up,
But she's
finishing them all.
up.
Right. All right. So that went into what made you want to tell us how the whole idea and thought of wanting to get into investing came to fruition.
So when I was in the real estate market, those 2 years that I was talking about, I was still working. I
Mm,
was on the MLS 24/7. If there was any house that came up on the MLS, I knew before anybody else did because I looked at it every day religiously, and I tried to remember as much as I could. So when I would get a phone call it would be like, hey, have you seen that? Oh yeah, that house just came up. It's for
Yeah.
this much, it's this big, whatever, right? Well, guess who all those houses were? It was the Kevin Blaine's real estate team,
Oh,
right? He
they
owned
were
the
like
market.
rehabbed houses. They were
Yeah,
after rehab.
rehab houses.
After rehab.
He had the most listings every month. It was the same thing. It was the Kevin Blaine's real estate team.
Hmm.
And when I joined Kevin Blaine, I wanted to do that because I felt like if you own the market share, you know, you own the listing, that's your sign in the front.
Hmm.
And I'm telling you this because this is the passion behind it of what I did with the flips.
Yeah.
So it was a listing, it was open houses opportunity and opportunity to get the buyers.
Hmm.
So I took that and I was like, man, I have to do 20 flips because if I do 20 flips, that's 20 more times to get the buyer's side, right? And so I was thinking if I want to hit these crazy numbers, I need to be able to double in everything or have a funnel that's bringing me in deals.
Hmm.
And I did my first flip. I made about $63,000.
Hmm.
I used to do the same thing that all the real estate agents do. When they find a deal, they would call their investors and they would sell them the deals.
Yeah.
Well, I caught on real quick was that that wasn't the way that it should be. We should be locking in deals for ourselves, right? Building our wealth and our legacy, and then giving whenever we're tapped out, then we would call our investors and give them those
Yeah.
deals.
Totally.
So I started looking for properties, and I got really good at door knocking,
Mm.
and we
So you
started
started, so you kind of transitioned to instead of finding these and kicking them over to others to flip, you just
investors.
started finding your own. And then
Yes.
how did you, was the income just there based off your real estate income, or were you finding investors? How were you being able to purchase these and do these deals?
So when Kevin reached out, that was one of my biggest things was to get into the flipping.
Hmm.
And he basically he became my first investor.
Hmm.
He helped me buy my first home,
So outside
and
investor, outside
that was
investors,
outside investors.
having
And
those
there's
outside
tons of
investors
money
help.
out. So you know, there's tons of money out here. We just gotta ask. And if if the property has is if you're getting it for a good price, there's no investors that's not going to give you those funds to buy that
Mhm.
house.
Yeah, they just want to look at the deal and see what you have, and then they will, yeah, they'll
They'll
jump
fund
in with
it.
you right away and do it. Yeah.
And that's the beauty about us is that now you got Sean has connections for funds, and now I have connections for funds, and
Hmm.
Jenny has connection for funds. She surprised me the other day with those two flips that she bought. I'm like, how'd you get those? I said, did you use my investors? She says, no. I'm like, okay, good.
I did it myself,
You
but she
know,
totally
there's a lot of
surprised
money
the
out.
result. It's
It's
awesome.
just about finding the deal, and you'll find the money is the easy part, believe it or not.
Yeah. So finding the deal. So you went out. So let's just go back. So 2017, 2018. So take 2019 is when you started flipping. Got your
Yep,
license 2017. 2019, you started flipping, found yourself an investor. The
yep.
investor started working with you, giving you funds, help you buy. You found the properties. So you weren't afraid to door knock. You're just out there looking for deals, door knocking and doing what? Asking for the sell. And how are you asking for that? Ask them if they want to sell, and what responses were you getting? What's your typical response on that?
So when I first started again, it would be a lot of no's and a lot of shutting the door and just, you know, brushing me off. And so I thought of a different way to doing it. And that way was, hey, the real estate side came back into the investment side. It was like, I just sold the house down the street. And I have a bunch of buyers that want to live in this area. You know, would you be interested in selling your property? And it wasn't just targeting that home. Like they probably watched me go down the block, home to home to home. So it
Yeah.
wasn't like whatever I wouldn't just
You're
pick
not
one.
just hitting the home that you want to buy.
Yes, and I would also meant to say something like, you know, you know, I came from the other block, you know, and I just came in, just let them know that you're not targeting their ugly house.
Yeah.
And then I would also, when I was, because I did about, you know the area, but in Porterville, California, I did 14 flips on the same street, and I could tell you exactly how I did that. It was after one flip, by the time I was done with that flip, all the neighbors were my friends. I would go over there and say, hey, you know, let me know if the guys are coming in too early. let me know if trash is coming over the fence, or let me know how I could fix anything that you don't like.
Mm,
And it was crazy. I bought one house. The neighbor sold me his house. The neighbor sold me the house. It was
wow.
an older area. Obviously, it was West Putnam, East Putnam is very old.
Yeah.
And, and I ended up getting 14 that year from that same
14 in 1 year on the
in
same
1 year,
block, all from door knocking and purchasing one house. You end up with
one
14.
house.
Wow.
That's your opening to talk to the neighbor, to talk to any neighbor, is you're doing a flip, you're the new owner. They probably wanted that house to get fixed anyways,
Yeah.
you know?
I mean, I'm telling you, everyone that lives, every neighborhood, every one of you that lives in a neighborhood, you know that one house in your neighborhood that you just wish a flipper would buy it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
There's always
Seriously.
there's always one. And so
There's
getting
always
to
that
know the
one.
neighbors, so all the neighbors are going to want to talk to you and say, "Oh yeah, I know I'm interested. I'm looking to buy houses. If anyone knows of anyone in the neighborhood that is interested, oh yeah, did you see that one right there? Yeah, I did. By the way, I'm trying to get a hold of them. Do you happen to have a phone number for them? Right?
Exactly. And I know, you know how it's done. That's exactly how it's done. It's basically, it is, you go, when you door knock one house, you're getting information already stacked from all the neighbors. So when you're going to the next house, it's like, hey, Sean just said that, that you might know the guy that owns this house, that you do the lawns.
Yeah.
Or Sean said that, they keep breaking into that house. Or this neighbor said this, and then now you're the neighbor now.
Yeah.
Now they get you, they put you in a neighbor category. Now it's easier to do what you want to do. And again, it goes to the same thing, building relationships with everybody you meet.
Yeah.
And you ask for business, because if you're asking for that house, they don't know, well, what do you do next? Do you
Yeah.
know anybody that's selling or buying?
Yeah.
And so it was, honestly, it became super easy for me, and I really love it. Because I still to this day, I still do, little audits, and I try to figure out how could I change it, or what else I could do to get them to open that door and put me in their kitchen
Mhm.
and their kitchen table.
Yeah. Yeah. This is so funny because what you're talking about, if this sounds like a different language to you, like you've never heard this before, anything like that, I would be totally surprised. Okay, if you're in real estate at all, or you're any sort of real estate agent, transaction coordinator, it doesn't matter what you do. If you have some sort of foot in the door, this should not sound foreign to you. This should sound totally normal, because there's a thing called previewing listings, which is a job that you have as a real estate agent, previewing listings. Now, previewing listings, exactly like Abel just said, is also how you pick up listings. If there's a listing for sale on a block, and I don't care if it's different brokerage, Century 21, Remax, KW, Legacy, Homes of Idaho, it doesn't matter what it is, who's listing, it doesn't matter. You call up the agent and say, hey, I'm previewing some listings. I've got some potential buyers that are kind of be coming into town, or whatever it is going on. Wanted to see if I could preview yours. I'm looking at tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Do you think that agent isn't going to let you see the house? Then you're fooling yourself. And if that agent doesn't let you see the house, they're fooling themselves. They're fools.
Yeah.
What you're going to do is you're going to go and knock, you're going to go look at the house. You're going to do a video showing while you're going through the house, a video reporting that you can send to some buyers that hopefully you've been nurturing and trying to find, because you've been hopefully doing some open houses. And then you're going to door knock all the houses around that house. And you're going to say, hey, we're working hard to try to find a buyer for the neighbor over here across the street. Your neighbor working kind of hard. Just wanted to say, hey, usually someone in the neighborhood knows somebody that wants to move into the neighborhood. So do you know of anybody? Or have you yourself thought about selling? Also, would you be interested in a cash offer? So now you did two things. One, you're trying to pick up a listing. You're trying to pick up, I'm sorry, three things. Trying to pick up a listing, trying to pick up a buyer, and possibly trying to buy the house. If
Yeah.
you think a high-end house isn't worth buying, you can get it for the right price and turn around and flip it, or at minimum, wholesale it to an investor like Abel. There's so much potential with just visiting one listing.
Yeah.
So much crazy potential. So what
And that,
Abel's talking about better not be foreign to you, because that's what we call previewing listings in
mhm.
the real estate sales world, not investor world. It's the same thing.
It's the exact same thing. And to me, I don't think we do it enough. I
Nope,
think
it's not
go out
done.
and 1 hour of it or 10 houses. It should be 10 houses a day. 10
Hmm.
houses a day, right? Times 5, times 4, times 12. Do the math.
Yeah.
If you really want to get into this is what you got to do. You got to do what people don't like to do.
Yep.
And we got really good at it because we figured it out very quickly that this was getting us in front of the client. It wasn't like, oh, we're not answering our phone calls or whatever. We were like literally knocking at your front door and you were coming out. And I think if you guys would just set yourself to do 5 doors a day, right? Something super basic and just pass out your cards and just meet people, add people to your CRM, it could really take you guys to another level like it did to us. And by the way, me and Jenny and I, we sold over 100 houses for 3 years in a row.
Mhm.
So, when we were in the real estate side, this was what worked for us. From the day that my construction team was coming into the flip, they had a sign-in sheet. Just think about this. Why? Because people were stopping and saying, "Hey, what are you guys gonna do to this home? Are you gonna rent it or are you gonna sell it?" And my construction team
Mhm.
was like, "Well, I don't know what he was gonna do, but put your name right here and he'll give you a call." See
Yeah.
what I'm saying? It's just this flipping is more than just making tons of money. If you do it correctly, it's a funnel to bring you more deals and
Oh
more
yeah.
leads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's another reason. And when you go to a listing appointment or you even do an open house, you got to remember the investor side of things. You got to remember you have the potential to buy this house too, right? So agents tend to forget that. They're small town thinking. They're just small thinking.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of potential. You got a lot of options
Mhm.
when you're doing an open house. Buy the house, list the house, sell the house to a buyer, pick up 3 or 4 buyers. You've got so many options. Don't forget about those options, right? You should be thinking first and foremost, is there a way I can buy this house?
Yeah.
And don't think you can't. And if you're thinking you can't, you're cutting yourself short by far. If it's worth buying and rehabbing and reselling, or even buying and flipping it over to someone else, you can do it.
Yeah.
So, so okay, but you said 100 homes in 1 year. I remember that year when you said, you and Jenny said you guys were going to sell 100 homes,
Yeah.
and I remember you doing it. It was more than 100. It was like
Yeah.
125,
Yeah. 127.
127. All right, I'm off by
I
two.
got a tattoo. I got a tattoo right here. Look.
Oh, do you? Got it. I wouldn't be surprised. 127. And we're not talking a team, guys.
Yeah.
It was Abel and Jenny,
Jamie and I. Yeah.
which technically that makes two, so that's a team. So, but it
You
was
tell
Abel
me
and
my
Jenny.
business partner. My business partner always said, "Yeah, you beat me because there's two of you." I'm like, "Wow." Well, we have to.
Wow.
When we got married, we became one. Remember that. So it's only one
That's
of
right.
us.
That's right. And one person, what were you doing? You were doing the dials and she was doing
Yeah.
the appointments. You were doing the dials, setting her up on appointments. So does that mean an individual solo person can't do that? No, they certainly can. They should be. That's your job.
That's your job. Yeah.
Appointment set and appointment met. So your daily tasks are to create appointment opportunities for you every day. That's your job as a realtor. Create new appointments and then going and doing the appointments. Whether it's buying a home or whether it's listing the home, right? Appointment set, appointment met.
And that's
Those are
exactly. I have the house junkies guys here, and that's exactly what I left when I left the room. That's what I told them. Let's go set some appointments. See what I'm
nice.
saying? It's like it's there. It's the same thing. It's in the same circle, right? It's in the same tree.
Yeah.
We have to be looking for these deals. If you're
So
not
now,
buying it, you're listing it. Just think
yeah,
about it.
yeah. Buying should be option one. Is there a way to
Yes.
buy? Option
Yeah.
two, list the house. Now we're thinking like investors, and that's who you want to be, right? You got into real estate because you were interested in this, so you wanted to invest. So first and foremost, can I buy the house? Secondly, if not, worst case scenario should be listing the house.
Yeah.
So you talked about your team, your House Junkies team. So now you transitioned. So you were door knocking yourself for many years, creating opportunities for you and your wife and your family. And now you're helping other families, meaning you brought other people on your team. So about how many doors do you guys figure you knock in a week?
I think I want to say if you add all of the team, we have a big
Yes.
team.
All your door knockers. Yeah. Everybody that knocks.
So, so remember I told you about the audits, right? I went back out on the field with them. When was it, honey? It was 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago when I went to door knock. And I was getting home late. I got in trouble. 3 weeks ago, I went with them because I'm trying to figure it out. What are they doing? If they're doing it, if I could add some more, I don't know, just trying to add more value to what they
Yeah,
were doing.
yeah.
And that
Change
day
up
we
their
did
scripts,
about,
do something different
yeah, we did about 15 door knocks.
that day.
And we got the list from Deal Machine or
Yep.
yeah, Deal Machine. And so we went in there and we did Hanford was where we were at.
Mhm.
And we literally went though the whole week. Okay. And they're about to lock in a deal right now from one of the ones that we door knocked 3 weeks ago.
Mm.
And if they lock it in at 90,000, the house is worth 350. So just do the math. It's worth it. It's like in 3 weeks, you're gonna make 70K after everything's said and done.
Yeah.
So
So
about 15,
dealmachine.com, is that it?
yep.
Dealmachine.com. All right, I put that in the chat
You
for
could use property radar. You could use, the only reason why I think we're
Red
using Deal
X.
Machine. Radix, we're using Domish because it has the CRM in there. And
Mhm.
we're noting, we're trying to get this to another level. So we're making notes now and we're, Deal Machine will also break it down, what's closer, what's next, instead of just driving across town and doing all that.
Yeah.
We spend a lot of time doing that back in the day. I did. I would go
So
to one side.
so I didn't get a full answer to the question though. So your team, how many doors are they knocking a week, you think? Just give me an average.
Let's
So
say
15 in a day,
20, no, let's say 15 a day, but I
15.
know we do more. But let's not exaggerate. If I don't know the real
We're
number,
talking
but we
75 on average a week. 75 on
yeah,
average doors you're knocking a week. And then
every week.
how many do you feel you're going to flip this year? You can boast on that number too. Go for it. How many did you flip
I
last
think
year?
I'm gonna probably complete. I should be close to 100. This is my
100.
board now. Let me see if I could kind of,
Oh yeah.
I don't know,
See it?
see right there.
So
That's
100
my board.
potential flips this year, guys. And that's about 75 doors knocking a
I
week.
have 16 escrows right now. 16
16
escrows right now. And so
flips, flip escrows.
yeah, flips that we're gonna
16.
purchase and
Nice.
And I, so you think about it in the real estate side, that's 16 listings.
Hmm.
That's 16 open houses.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
16 more opportunities to get more buyers. It only
Yep.
makes sense for everybody to be doing this.
Yeah. So you got your leads. You're bringing in your leads. That's our job is to figure out leads, get leads. And then potentially those leads turn into listings.
Yes.
Hmm.
So they do about 15. So then you would obviously you do the math, then you got, times 5 and then times 4 and times 12. That's how many we're doing a year.
Yeah.
And all we do, we have our houses, our logo, our shirts, our logos. We have our door hangers, our business cards,
Hmm.
and that is basically our uniform that we're out there. And we have a list. And so the list is like an icebreaker as well. It's like, oh, your property came up on my list. And you're literally holding your notepad. You know what I mean? You're like, it's here. And so when they see that, they're like, oh, okay. So you're not just like, it just makes everything more real. When you're
Yeah.
like showing them the list, oh, you came up here, we work with house junkies and we want to give you a cash offer.
So good.
Yeah.
So good.
It's getting the
All
front
right.
seat,
So
the secret.
So you guys, this is an opportunity. You guys have questions for Abel, want to open it up, type it into the group chat, unmute and speak. Who's got questions for him? This is Abel's funnest part. He loves when people don't ask questions. So he's kind of hoping you don't, but I know someone's got questions.
And I will tell you that door knocking is not for everybody, right? But if you think about it, your job is now to find somebody that likes to do it or that has the character to do it.
Mhm.
It's like I get that a lot. It's like I don't like door knocking. Okay, well find your son or find a cousin or find a grandma or find somebody that you could give a list to, right? You give them the list that I just told you to make, and you give it to whoever that person is and say, hey, go out and pass out my door hangers at these houses. And then That's the way, if you have to do it this way. If you don't like to do it, find somebody that's gonna do it and you be the manager. That means every Friday you're checking up on it. So how did those 100 houses that I gave you go? You know, any potential leads and whatnot.
Yeah.
And if you do that, that's what you'll get leads that way too. And it'll take you about 3 months. So just know that it takes about 3 months to get your first lead.
So
I
have
what
a question.
website?
Oh, sorry.
Okay. All right. So let's go with Stan. Stan first.
Okay. Hey, Abel, first of all, you really got my attention when you mentioned going door knocking and Porterville, because even though I'm now living in the Boise area, I grew up in Porterville and uh, still think about it an awful lot. Plus, I want to build my business through door knocking. And so my question is this, you've talked about building relationships and things like that. Do you bring anything in hand to the people, to the homes that you're door knocking, to discuss with the potential buyer or seller or investor?
Good question.
Okay, that's a really good question. So I'll tell you what we do. So we do carry what we have. We have a whole breakdown of what we're gonna offer you. And we carry that with you because that's what we do different from everybody else. Everybody's like, I'm gonna give you $100,000. We have a whole breakdown why we're gonna give you $100,000. And then now the client's like, oh, I see why. And so we do have that in front of us, and we also carry our iPads with us. So the iPad is to show them, sometimes they'll have questions like, but I seen on Zillow or Realtor.com that my house is worth 350,000. So now that you being an agent comes into perspective. You show them online, you bring it up, and again, now they open the door. Now you're building a relationship. You're showing them why you're saying Zillow is saying 350, but these are the comparables. Look at this house or look at this house, right? So your house is worth 350, but I have to do all these things to it. And that's why I'm going to give you $100,000.
Yeah.
On the flip
Breaks
side,
it down to what needs to be done, what your plan is to the house.
yes, and they get to see, now they know, okay, he's not lying. $70,000 rehab. I do need a new AC, that's 10 grand. I do need a new roof, that's another 10 grand. New bathrooms, new kitchen, whatever. And so they understand now why you're giving them that amount.
Yeah.
And
so good.
I guess you call it, we do a lot of freestyle with us. We find any way to get the client to be comfortable and have a conversation with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good. There was a female that I didn't see who it was that was also going to ask a question when Stan was asking. Who was that?
It's me. It's Blanca.
Blanca.
I just have a question for Abel. How do they do their follow up? Because I do door knocking and get a contact, but most people are not ready on the first visit.
Mhm.
So, do you have a system for your follow up?
So we've been using Deal Machine for that now, because that also gives you like a reminder to call, which I guess you guys don't even have to buy anything else. You could use KV Core for that, right? But
KV Core does the same thing. Yeah.
it gives you a reminder, and in the reminder now you go. But another thing that we're doing with Deal Machine is when we're in front of the house and we did, oh, I'm gonna have to write this down because I need to tell you guys this for sure. When you go into the Deal Machine, you guys are gonna you can do
Go for it.
who's
Nope,
that
you're good.
handsome?
I know.
So what it'll give you an option to send a postcard. So you door knock, right? You send the postcard and then you check if there's a phone number. Those are the three things we're doing with Deal Machine. But for Blanca, I guess we're getting better at that. We didn't do that back then. So we probably missed out on a lot of opportunities. But now that I've been doing this for so long, man, I wish I would have done it. So I recommend that you guys do it. Keep track of every home that you're door knocking, keep notes and follow up. You just go back, Blanca, and you talk to the neighbors again. Remember, Sean was there, Michael was there, their neighbors, and talk to them
So
again.
is it like a 2-week follow up or a weekly follow up? How often you going back?
Depend how hot is it. If it's really hot, the next week you're there again.
So if you had a conversation, there was a little bit of an interest, you better hit it next week.
And then you're back again. And then you could come back and just say, hey, basically I was around the corner and just stop to say hi. Take them some cookies. Take them some cookies, take them something to just start building that relationship.
So good. Take us some cookies. I love it.
Thank you.
cookies.
Good question, Blanca. Was there someone else going to unmute? Otherwise, I do have a few questions here in the chat. Teddy.
Yeah, thank you, Abel, for coming on. Can you hear me okay?
Sure can. We got you, Teddy.
Okay.
Gotcha.
No, thank you very much. A lot of valuable information here. The most thing I think I've gotten is you got to get out of your comfort zone and go out there and get in and door knocking. Don't sit behind the desk and just send out postcards and letters.
Yeah.
So thank you for your time this morning. I really appreciate it.
Love it. Thanks,
Teddy, and
Teddy.
that's exactly what it is. It's getting in front of somebody, talking to somebody, right? It's easier for them to hang up on you on the phone. This way, you're meeting somebody, you're talking to them, and you're getting a real opportunity to get clients. And also before I forget, so the stress, let's say there's the stress property that you have your eye on. The secret of this is for you to door knock the right, the left, and the three people in the front. If you're not doing that, you're not doing your job right. You're doing a half-ass. You have to go and you have to get
That's
the neighbor
minimum,
on the
minimum
right.
5.
All the 5 homes have to be hit because
Minimum
that's
5.
how you're going to get a hold of these sellers. You're going to have to talk to the neighbors because one of the neighbors has the information that you need. Because think about it, when you go out of town, Sean, what do you do when you're going out of town? You're packed up, you're leaving, and your neighbor's picking up his mail. What do you do usually? I'll tell you what I do. Because I don't know what you're gonna say, but what I do is, neighbor, I'm gonna leave. I'm going out of town for a week. If you see anything, please give me a call.
Yeah. No, it's that's exactly. My neighbors left this last week, and that's the first thing they did was send us a message, send us a text. Hey, we're heading out of town, heading camping. So and so should be by the house. Yep, that's what's happening.
Yep. And like Sean said, the neighbors want the house sold. You know, the neighbors are tired of people breaking in or people just coming around and snooping around. Even people just stopping and asking to buy it. So the neighbor's gonna give you that information if they have it.
Yeah. So Annabelle asked about marketing material. Is there a website that you use to market material? And by the way, all your logos, if you're in Legacy, because I know a lot of people are in Legacy, logos are all on KV Core under the company cloud, upper right-hand corner. There's logos in there. So we're keeping, there's several different brokerages on here though, so we're not going to get too deep into just Legacy stuff. But websites, you can get the logos on there and upload it. What website do you use to like create your marketing material? I put canva.com in there, by the way, because that is the simplest and easiest one to use, canva.com.
You could use Canvas. You could do we use Vistaprint just because I've been using it for so long. So we go in there, we order, and I order 100,000 door hangers at a time. So we're not
100,000 door hangers at a time.
Like
Wow.
I truly believe in this, and it's been working, and it's gonna work for you. Another thing that works for you guys is that you're licensed real estate agents. What does that mean for the seller? That means that you guys are not going to break any rules and lose your license, right?
Oh, yeah.
I always use that. I'm a licensed real estate agent. Who are you dealing with? Who's the other guy you're dealing with over the phone? You know, have you met them? You know, this is my business card. Here you go. And they like that. It's like, you're going to basically, I'm going to help you. I'm not going to do anything to lose my license. And you're being charged no commission, right? You got to make sure you tell them obviously you're not representing them, but you're not going to charge a commission. They're not going to pay for no escrow fees. You know, everything is covered. It's an easy process, 14 to 15 days. And that's when you guys will reach out and we'll find the money. You guys focus on finding the house and we'll find the money.
Yeah. So he says he uses Vistaprints to order his material. Vistaprints is great. You can get business cards, anything, but he's talking about door hangers specifically. That's to create them. That's to actually purchase them. Canva.com creates great marketing material that you can just print. You just get in the canva.com and go up to the search bar and search marketing material for real estate agents in canva.com. It will pull up all these already pre-made template flyers for you. Pretty easy to use.
Like I said, I have some here at the office. If you guys are in Visalia, you guys could pick them up. I make them. When I make them, they're blank. They don't have any of my information. They will have House Junkies ink on it, but you guys could print out your own little stickers, which we do here as well. And you guys could go out and you guys don't have to spend any money now.
Yeah. What's more successful in your mind, door knocking or phone call dialing?
Oh, door knocking. all day.
Door knocking.
Yeah, door
And the
knocking.
reason why is you're getting in front of their face. They can see you. It's a lot harder to slam the door in your face than it is to slam the phone down.
And
Don't hide behind the phone, but the phone's needed to have. If you door knocked them, now they saw your face, they got to know you. Now you call them and try to give them a call on that number that you pulled off of the websites. You
So
know,
your door knock, look at, picture this, okay? You're on the phone. Sean says hi, he's not interested, and then you hang up. You're door knocking, you're meeting the neighbor on the left, the neighbor on the right, the neighbors in the front, and the lady walking the dog. So you gave out your card how many times during that door knocking? You see what I'm saying? It's more opportunities. You know, when we go to Mexico, I tell Jenny, I get off the plane and these guys are like, hey, you want to buy this? You want to buy that? Well, that's the way we need to be out there when we're out there. We're passing out our business cards to every single person, like they do in Mexico, try to sell you everything. You know?
Yeah.
So
Wait,
Abel, I have a question.
oh, go for it.
What advice would you give someone that's looking to transition from part-time to full-time?
In the investing world,
Real estate, yeah, I would say real estate in general.
all around.
Yeah.
I think that I think what I would do would help me go full time was honestly, the truth is, if Kevin wouldn't have reached out, I probably would have still been there a little longer.
Yep.
Because I knew that I was gonna have a team leader that was gonna help me grow. So that was a big part to me. And I think, you know, just having the right leader, and then also making sure that you're saving money. So when you do leave, you do know that you have enough to cover your full-time employer. Make sense?
Yeah, yep, that's a good one. I'm going to give you a little one too, Thalia, is that when I went full time, I had to make a pact with myself. I had to make a pact with myself and say, I am going to treat my real estate business as a full-time job, meaning I have to work minimum 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, minimum. And I made a pact, and I told my wife, I said, I'm going to get my Facebook back. That was way back in the day before all the other, you know, Instagrams and all those stuff. It was just Facebook. I'm going to turn it back on, and it's going to be my business platform. I'm going to use it as a platform to focus on my sphere of influence, to contact more people, to create more people. I'm going to use it for content-based marketing. I'm going to use it for all this. And all day long, I'm going to be working, calling people. And I got 8 hours. And so if I'm going full time, I've got an 8-hour job, 5 day a week to work. I can't let things get in the way. My calendar's my boss, and it puts me to work. And I stuck to it, and I did it. But it was hard. It was very hard for me to force myself to do it, especially when I got a couple deals going. Then I'm like, all right, here we go. But it was a commitment. You've got to make a commitment to yourself. It's all mindset. 100% of this is in your head. And going full time just means, hey, I've got a full-time job, and the only way I'm going to fail is if I turn the faucet off. If I turn the faucet off, the flow of incoming opportunities, the flow of incoming leads, and I turn it off, I'll fail. If I keep it full bore all day long every day, if I've got nothing in escrow, I got 8 hours a day to lead generate. That's the mindset shift when you go full time. That's my suggestion.
That's what I had said
Yeah, I
earlier.
agree.
In the investment side, it's the same thing, right? It's that's what I was talking about, where you have to put those 8 hours, right? 40 hours a week, just like you would for any other.
Minimum 40 hours a week. Yep.
Hey, Abel and Sean, I have a question. Annabelle here.
Hey, Annabelle.
Annabelle?
Hey, well, obviously, I mean, a lot of you guys have a lot of experience. I just been in the industry for a couple of months. I mean, I want to say 6 months at the most. So I'm still kind of in the process of like having my hand held.
Mhm.
Would you be willing to give us some type of maybe take us or take me or whoever wants to go door knocking so we can see how is it that you approach and how you handle things like right there in live? I guess more
Yeah.
than anything and in general, yes, a field trip. Somebody pull a field trip.
Yeah, no, think about this. You remember those, they call them, what do they
Love
call
field
them?
trips.
What do they call those people? They call them gypsies, right? And so
Yeah.
they come to town and they blanket neighborhoods. They'll drop them off in buses to sell magazines on the corner, and they canvass those neighborhoods until the police show up and kick everybody out. We
Yeah.
used to be a police officer. It's one of the things we
Yeah,
used to
no,
do.
and I guess one of my greatest,
Definitely.
I think in just on general, mentally wise, fear is one of our biggest enemies.
Mhm.
And even though I've been in the sales business since I was 16, starting selling shoes, furniture, so I can relate to a lot what you said, Abel. Now, and then doing insurance for so many years, and now transition into real estate for my personal investments and for my clients. Somehow fear is still a common enemy that I have
Mhm.
initially. Once
We
I'm
all,
able to like let go of that and have that experience, it's like, okay, now I can run.
Mm.
yeah. I would love for you guys to come.
Yeah.
I think it'd be
Door
fun. I mean,
knockers. Okay.
that's what I'm,
Door knock is
that's
a
what
take
I'm
them
good
with you
at.
too, right?
You guys, and you know, it's funny what you said, Sean, because you know that's where this came from. This idea came from Kirby.
Yeah.
Kirby used to
Oh
take the
yeah.
van,
Kirby
drop them
vacuum.
off, and they would all spread out.
Yeah.
And they would, and then when they got a hit, they would say, "Hey, leader, come and help me close this."
Yeah.
Right?
It's
Same
exactly it.
thing. It's the way they think. And guess what? Those companies were very successful.
Mm-hmm.
You know, at when I was growing up. You know, and so this works. And this, guys, this is zero cost. Well, $25 for your shirt, $10 for your notepad, and then whatever you pay for your iPad.
Yeah.
So that's all you need to get started, and it costs you $0. Postcards are expensive. I know people that pay 15,000 a month on postcards, and I promise you, they're not getting as many deals as we are. I know people that call every day. Those things are just, it's like a cherry on top, right? You go, you door knock, you meet people, and then you got your postcards flying out, and then you got your phone calls on another day. And so when you schedule your day, it's like you door knock 10 homes, make 2 hours of phone call. Think about it. You can't fail if you're doing that.
Yeah, you got you got pillars of your business that you're doing, and you got to hit those pillars each day. You're not just doing the bare minimum, guys. You got to do it all. You got to have it all, has to have time in your day to do. You got 4 hours, 5 hours to lead generate today, and I'm going to service the business in the afternoon. So during those 4 hours, what specifically are you working on? Door knocking is one. Phone calls need to be one of them, because some people will answer the phone and they wouldn't answer the door. You know, maybe they weren't home. Text messages need to be in there. Social media direct messages need to be in there. Mailers
Okay.
need to be in there.
Will not fail. I see Ernie's big in the, because I'm only because I'm looking at you guys' names on top. Annabelle, you've been in sales. All the people you help, well, obviously you probably built good relationships with them. Let them know what you need from them, right? You've already did your side. If you did it correctly, you helped them out. You know, you gave them a discount, you know, whatever it was. Now it's your turn to call them and say, hey, I'm looking to buy 2 distressed properties or one, whatever the goal is. Ernie, same thing. You're deep in the community, that you do a lot for people. You're not, I think if you're doing so much for the community, it's okay for you to ask for something back.
Yeah.
I do it. I always ask for something back with any of my clients. I go above and beyond, and I ask them for another client. You know, if you guys are doing the same thing in the investment side, you guys will get a deal. I promise you.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
can go
Sierra
time.
asked us to do a scenario, which we did a little bit earlier. We kind of talked about the scenario of the door knock and what we would say and what we do. So she said both owner and the renter. I don't know if we're gonna have enough time to do a full scenario because we're already almost an hour. Holy macro. See, this is a hot topic. We're gonna have to do this again, Abel. Really soon.
Let's do
Really
it.
soon.
I'll be more
Keep this
comfortable on the
going.
next one.
But I think better, Sierra, better than scenarios, I think are live. Like grab a group, Abel's got his door knockers. They'll send you out with the door knockers. I know Brad Berg puts together, him and Jeff Riesabos, Ariel Salazar, several group over there in your area. They go and they canvas neighborhoods together. So they'll take you with them. Better yet is to go with some of those people, follow them, go together. That way you're getting a live thing. What's that?
Go with different groups, you know, because we're all different. And there's so much I can learn from Sean and Jenny and you guys, the same thing. If you guys are going to the different groups, and then now you're making your own style.
Totally.
You know, I think I would really love for a group of people to come with me. I'll get the list together,
Mhm.
And anything that we get that day, we'll make it a group profits.
Yeah.
Hey, Abel, another
There you go.
question. Do you have that date for that in live in-person training for the flips?
You know what? I haven't. I'll get with Sierra and I'll get that going.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. I can't wait. I'm really excited about this.
I'll get it.
Awesome.
I'll get it going.
Good job, guys. Great meeting today. Thank you guys for coming. Abel, man, round of applause, brother. Thank you for jumping in with us today. Guys, just know every single week on this call, we're going to have somebody new. Next week, Tony Larson's stepping in. He's in the Idaho division. Tony Larson's huge in development. His stepdad, it was an owner of a big development company called Hubble Homes. Then he sold it, and so he was in that. So big on development, big on luxury. A lot of his listings are well over $1 million, if not $2 million. He's going to be in here next week. He also does investing. He has a deal going with Brad Berg over in Idaho right now. So definitely in the investing world as well. So you'll get a little bit of a different flavor next Wednesday. So make sure every Wednesday you're coming back, because we've got it lined up all the way up through 2 months right now of people backed up to jump in here on Wednesdays during this call. We even have a mindset expert stepping in. Her name is Jennifer Hansen. She's going to be coming in. She's a mindset coach. She's going to be stepping in October. So take a look at that. Take a look at your calendars. Make sure you're jumping in on those. Every single Wednesday, we're going to have a new person stepping in, changing it up a little bit on our weekly coaching call. So you don't just have to hear me all the time. You're sick of hearing me. So yeah, I love it. Thank you, Abel.
Make sure you guys remember, if you guys don't want to door knock, get people that want to do it. So that's super
Final
important.
words.
Team of door knockers.
Final words from Abel is to jump in, get some door knockers, get some friends, get some friends to go door knock with.
And Sierra has the flight. If Sierra has the blank door hangers, all right. Everybody, if you guys want them, you guys could have some.
All right, we can mail
Okay.
those out. We can send those
Thank
out
you,
there.
guys.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Abel. Appreciate it, man.